Hey, buddy, welcome to Mattman, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarian, and I'm joined by the antiviral Rich Stambolian.
I am the antivirus.
You are the antivirus.
Put me in your blood.
Can I tell you, my son, Hunter's been asking for Uncle Rich, and I'm like, he keeps saying, is Uncle Rich coming over? It's Uncle Rich coming over. I'm like, why? He goes, I want to talk to him about Venom. That's what he said to me this morning and left. He's very big into Venom now. He loves Venom.
Did you watch a movie with him?
No, I didn't watch the full movie with him. He watched parts of it, but I watched the movie. It was terrible, but
not a good one.
You know what? He likes Venom and he loves Carnage, and he doesn't understand why Carnage is not a good guy.
Well, are you trying to explain the intricacies of a good guy, bad guy to
a 3-year-old?
How old is he now? 3-year-old?
3.5, yeah. 3.5.
He looks cool, though. That's the thing. Carnage looks really cool.
He does look cool. They all look cool. So he's very much into Venom and Carnage. So he's been asking for you. This is a Saturday edition. If you're listening to this live, it's very early. It's 10 a.m. here on the East Coast. We're doing the show about an hour and a half early today because we got a crazy Saturday. This will be available on podcast. So if you listen to the podcast, it's probably sometime in the afternoon on Saturday. We're going to be doing a watch along right after this. For the Full Gear pay-per-view, the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view. We're going to be live tonight. I'm not too sure what time. 6:30, 7 o'clock we'll be live. I'll post it here on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But I wanted to get the show out available because this is a tremendous card, and so much has happened in wrestling over the last week or so where there's a lot to talk about for sure. Let me turn this TV off here. I don't want to see the news at all.
Enough with Alex Jones.
Enough. It's just so much. So I wanted to get the show out, and I want to talk about the pay-per-view, and there's so much going on. A couple things, but before I do, I want to give a little shout out. I got this awesome book in the mail. Do you see this, Rich? I don't know if you can see it there.
Yes.
So essentially, it's by Titan Insider Press. It came from the UK. Essentially, it's the entire Observer from 1997. It's a yearbook, and it highlights, essentially the last year that WWF was a number 2 company, as far as pro wrestling goes. And it's awesome because this is my favorite year in wrestling because there was still so much going on. A lot of people jumping ship. It's quite big. I mean, it's about 400 and some odd pages. This book, 418 pages or so. But it's 1 year's recap of the Observer. I hope that they continue this. I hope that they put out a 98, a 99, a 2000 moving forward. Cool. Because this is a really cool thing to have, kind of cataloged moving forward. I wanted to give them a little shout out. I'm not too sure how I got this. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if someone sent it to me or I bought it in a drunken moment.
And that happens.
I swear to God, I don't remember buying this. I went looking for a receipt. I can't find it. I think I bought it. I remember seeing it, but I'm sure you guys can figure it out. I'll have a link. I'll look into this on how I got this, but very cool to have. It's a massive book. Very interesting because of all the stuff happening in 1997 in pro wrestling. Very interesting transitionary year from the beginning of 97 to the end of 97 where you had Montreal happen and everything was changing. So very cool book. I highly recommend it because someone that, I love the history of wrestling. So definitely want to promote it. So today is AEW Full Gear. MG Geek supplied us with some notes. We're going to get to that, but I want to recap everything else happening. Rich, what did you think of Raw? Because I got to tell you, worst rated third hour of all time.
I feel like my thoughts on Raw and my opinion on Raw have dwindled very much so. And the last couple, I try. There are good parts, and the rest of it is it's not even bad, but it's just nonsense, right? So like the Drew stuff and Randy stuff, great. The Fiend stuff, great. Everything else, not so much, right?
Not so much. The Fiend stuff is awesome. Like, I love that stuff. I love what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. That entire thing has been fascinating to me.
She's such a star in this, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Tremendous star. But, you're looking at this and you're like, who's, other than like Randy Orton and Drew and The Fiend, like everybody else, they're just idiots. They book these guys idiots. So bad. Yeah. They book them so poorly. Great example. Like, Retribution. These guys are fools.
Right.
You know, now they
did
have a
book
logo,
them into a weird corner.
Because they now they just look like idiots. Ali is the ringleader of them, and at least he looks good. But are they faces? Are they heels? You know, what are they fighting for? It's become one of these things where you're like, I don't know how to feel about it. But they don't look good. I'll tell you that. They look ridiculous in their masks, and even on the Raw post show, they were being made fun of by R-Truth.
Which is that the barometer of how low can you go?
Yeah, pretty much. When R-Truth starts ragging on you, he's not doing that to main eventers. He's not doing that to Randy Orton.
I did like the R-Truth segment where he tried to lay down for Bobby Lashley, but just kicked him in the head. That dude is money. Yo, he's what, 48 years old, and he's been with that company for who knows how many years, and he's very reliable when it comes to what he has to do.
He's an NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
That says a lot about him and his pedigree and like his work ethic, and just the fact that this dude is continually trying to make gold on Monday. Do you think they're ever going to give R-Truth the world title? Like, no, just never. Somehow, like a one-day run.
I think that ship sailed when he was in that feud with Cena a couple years ago. That could have been
smoking
the moment
cigarettes.
Where, yeah, that could have been the moment. My God, I forgot about that. That could have been the moment, but it's not going to happen. You know, he's a comedy act. He's a really solid comedy act for them, and I don't see them putting the world title on him anytime soon. But you know, I don't know, man. Raw was Raw. Not very happy about it. It was weird. NXT, however, very good show by NXT. Very much enjoyed it. What did you think of the new stable that debuted?
I like it. They're doing something with all those guys that really needed to be done. I was a bit worried about, to be honest, like I was very worried about Loney Orkin as a fan, to be like, oh, this guy's Oney Lorcan. I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna get bounced soon. And now it's like, all right, he's got the belt. He's in the new stable. I like the addition of Pete Dunne to the stable. Pete Dunne's looking crazy jacked, you know,
and
like
tan, dude.
It's very tan, very high profile guys in this. And I think they need it because Undisputed has been in control for such a long time. And I like Pat's whole shtick, you know, like that guy's great.
What's their catchphrase?
Oh, I don't know.
Kiss my ass and cheerio. What is it? Something like that.
It's like I'm the business and you're not, or something. Or I'm going to give you the business.
Someone knows it. Yeah, dude, very interesting. It's good. You also had Ciampa defeat Bob Hazelwood, $5. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Great Bob Hazelwood. The great Bob Hazelwood. That's what he goes by.
Bob,
that's his new
gimmick. $5.
$5 by the great Bob Hazelwood. Hazalwood. That's his new name. Ciampa defeated Velveteen Dream. It seems like Velveteen's job now is to just job, huh?
To job.
Yep. What a fall
He's
from
the
grace.
best looking jobber on their roster. Yeah,
what a fall
I
from
guess
grace.
so. Give it some time. He'll come back, man. I don't
think so. I don't think they want it to come back.
If they can push Lars Sullivan the way they're pushing him, give it like a year, and I guarantee you, like this dude's gonna be NXT champ.
Yeah,
like that's how WWE does stuff. If they can sweep the nonsense, I'm not defending them, but if they can sweep the nonsense under the rug and kind of wait out the heat, they'll do it. You know, they'll 100% do it.
Yeah. Kushida defeated Cameron Grimes. Tony Storm defeated Shotzi, and the big story was they destroyed Shotzi's tank.
Candice LeRae destroyed the tank
in a very bizarre way. It felt like it took forever to do it because they did it live. They didn't pre-record that moment, and it was just like very slow. And they dragged that thing out. It was so bizarre how they did it. I'm gonna go into AEW after we're done with WWE. What do you think?
Yes,
you want to do that one?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So SmackDown last night. What'd you think of it?
Oh, can I add something to the tank thing?
Go.
Wouldn't it be amazing if, because Shotzi's going to have her revenge, right?
Yeah.
I would like a segment where Shotzi goes to a warehouse and there's a big tarp, and underneath the tarp is Rusev's tank. And that's going to be her. And that's her tank from now on.
That's her gimmick now? I love it. Just comes out like a giant tank.
She's got the bigger tank.
I love it. Listen, great WrestleMania entrance for her, huh?
Absolutely. Give her the tank.
That's what this company does. They love those big arena entrances. I think for her, that'll be phenomenal. There's something special with her. We say that every week. There's something that really stands out about her.
Absolutely.
She's still getting better, too, which is good. SmackDown started off with a Bayley-Sasha match. Very good match. Sasha retains, attacked by a returning Carmella. So
really dug it.
Yeah, so this was the end of this feud for the time being, huh?
I think they're putting it on hold. They're going to go back to it. They're going to go back to it much like the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens feud. They have that in their back pocket. I really, really like Carmella's new look, and I think it definitely works for her because, you know what? That whole Enzo shtick was on a time limit, right?
Yeah, that whole thing was on a time limit and it kind of merged into the R-Truth stuff, but now it's a whole new thing for her.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll
It's very interesting too because I was kind of like in and out of SmackDown yesterday, and a lot of the Sasha Bayley stuff. Like I went to the kitchen and did some dishes, and I was like, oh, they're still doing stuff. And then the Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins stuff, and I'm like, oh, they're still doing this. This is very weird.
Yeah. What'd you think of the Uso stuff?
It was all right. I'm okay with it. I like how they're finally trying to elevate one of the Usos.
Which one? Jay.
I think this is Jay, right? Yeah, Jay's looking good. He's looking jacked. He's looking grizzled. He's been with the company forever. I think this is a really great storyline for everybody involved. I want to see more. I kind of want them to make this almost like a Samoan NWO, where every week somebody joins Roman and pledges allegiance to Roman. You know,
I love it. I actually love that.
Next week, Tamina. The week after that, let's say like the other Uso. The week after that, like Rikishi, and then then it starts kind of spreading a little bit. So like you'll get like Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn becomes and they're all a Samoan.
Yeah, and they're all under like the that banner of like the Samoan Mafia, basically, right?
I'm kind of into that. I actually am. Oh, they're gonna call it the Samoan Mafia. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So here's stuff that I'm kind of liking, right? The Daniel Bryan stuff is interesting, what they're doing with him. Daniel Bryan looks like it's pointing into a program with Roman. That'll most likely be the program for whatever the December pay-per-view is, or even Royal Rumble. I don't know. It's very interesting. This is one of the few years that I cannot look at Rumble and tell you what the outcome is going to be, because there's a couple things into play here, right? There's the entire Rock situation into play. There's COVID into play. They're not going to Lesnar. Lesnar's into play still. They're not going to waste a mega show on nobody being there.
I think it's going to be the tag team of Lesnar and Roman versus the tag team of Rock and COVID.
That's the perfect team.
They're gonna. If they could have Shawn Michaels and God versus Vince McMahon and Shane, they could have The Rock. The Rock's gonna attack in COVID.
Yeah, so I don't know. They're gonna go somewhere with it. Let's talk about your favorite wrestler, Lars Sullivan.
Lars Sullivan.
Gene.
I think they're gonna repackage him as a guy called Gene Snitsky.
Gene,
like jeans, like the pants.
Yeah. He did an interview. Yeah, he did an interview, and I don't know, man. He's so weird. He is a freak, this guy. He's so strange. He's bizarre. Not like strange, like more like a market in the Middle East. That's how he is. You saw the spelling?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Just really strange. So, for people who don't know, MG Geek wrote the notes, and he wrote bizarre, but he spelled it like a Turkish bazaar and not strange.
Yeah.
So, he's the bizarre one, Lars Sullivan. He just tries to sell you nuts in a market.
Come on, these good nuts.
These are good peanuts. Eat them.
Take them home.
Yeah. What do you think of Seth and what they're doing with him right now?
Somebody brought up a really good point on Twitter yesterday, and I'm going to reiterate it. Okay. Yeah. The Seth and Ray stuff is spinning its wheels. I'm not vested into it. You know what? Somebody suggested like, hey, this is kind of a placeholder for Seth to leave on paternity leave at some point, right? They're not giving him anything new.
Yeah.
They're not giving him anything new. He's spinning his wheels with the race stuff because at some point soon, his wife's going to have the kid. He's going to leave for a little bit, right?
Yeah, and it seems like he's elevating Buddy Murphy also in the. Whoa, hold on, what's happening here? Wrong shot.
Oh, what was that?
It was me versus me.
So he's elevating Murphy. I have come around big time to Aaliyah Mysterio. I think she works really well in that role. And she's got a lot of personality.
Yeah, she's working out. I didn't think it was going to work out, but I feel like it is working out. Baron Corbin over Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was wearing his tracksuit. I don't know why he wasn't dressed to wrestle. Once again, another one of my pet peeves. Everybody just
and
wears.
Yeezys. You guys wearing Yeezys.
Yeah. Then we also saw Ruby Riott beat Natty and Zelina. I hate that Zelina's wrestling now and not managing. She's a way better manager than a wrestler. And then I see Rich is writing notes and I'm laughing at him. So SmackDown was SmackDown. So we'll see what happens there. This is all leading up to Survivor Series, by the way. And right now, as it stands, these are the current matches. We have Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, champion versus champion. No titles on the line, by the way. So they're sticking to the theme from last year. Which, I don't know. Yeah. I don't hate this. I kind of like this. But here's the problem. This leads to nowhere. Right? Essentially, it's not a pay-per-view that leads. It's become just a filler month. And you got two of these. Because the next one, TLC, is another filler month. So they're telling you essentially for 2 months, you're not getting anything. We're leading up to Rumble.
Right. Well,
I cannot believe we're talking about Royal Rumble.
They've been doing that for like the last couple of years, right? Yeah. Where like they'll do like these big pay-per-view events where it's like the titles on the line, and then around this time of year, it's the lead up to who's gonna be the Rumble winner while they're maintaining that status quo. Like, all right, Randy versus Roman is going to end in like a wonky finish, right? Nobody comes out on top.
No, how do you... Yeah, you can't. You can't hurt either one because remember, Randy's being prepped for Edge and Roman is potentially being prepped for The Rock. So you can't let either one look weak. I mean, what was last year's match? Do you remember what it was?
I think we did a watch along too, right?
Who was it? It was Lesnar and somebody. Somebody remember?
It was. It wasn't Daniel Bryan, was it?
No, it wasn't Daniel Bryan. That was the year before. Lesnar and AJ? Lesnar and Joe?
2019, right?
I totally 2019. My God, I totally forgot.
I spelled this so wrong. I got it. Okay, Lesnar and it's Lesnar. Oh well, didn't see this one. Don't even remember this. Lesnar with Paul Heyman beating Rey Mysterio in 7 minutes.
I do not remember that at all. That happened.
Don't remember it. That happened. Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. Yeah, dude. Survivor Series 2019. It was a very interesting Survivor Series. I don't remember any of this. But you know what? You had the best match on the card. Roderick Strong, AJ Styles, and Nakamura.
Okay, I don't remember any of this.
Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne.
Dude, I'm honestly shocked. I have zero.
We watched this together.
I have zero memory of any of this.
I'm actually, you know what? I may have gotten a pizza on this day and eaten it by myself.
MGK, you got to go in the archives. Did we do a watch along? What the hell do we do? Look at our archive text. I don't think this existed. This is further proof that we live in a simulation. None of these matches happened.
No, this was a weird one, man. Like I don't remember any of this stuff. You know what? I do remember the end. Shayna Baszler beating Becky Lynch and Bayley.
Don't remember that at all. None of this happened.
That 20-minute match where they made Shayna look real strong.
I mean, this is a real, like, I cover wrestling. You and I cover wrestling every week. Yes, I am, because I have
freaking out right now.
I'm freaking out. I'm about to poop my pants because I have no memory of this. I'm gonna now watch
take a shit, bitch.
I'm just gonna
take it. You're gonna take a shit in your laundry basket.
Another inside joke with me and Rich today. This is what we're doing, just inside jokes.
Straight inside jokes.
You don't remember how mad you were at Walter getting eliminated early? Yes, I do remember that. I do
that's
remember.
Right. Yeah.
So we did do a watch along for this.
Somebody remembers. That's all. Thanks, Bachelor
Bachelor
3000.
3000.
That guy's on point. Mwah.
Encyclopedia.
He's like the fifth Beatle, except he's the fifth Matman.
Yes, the fifth Matman. All right, so let's see what else we got. We got Asuka versus Sasha, 1-on-1. We got Raw Tag Champions, the New Day versus SmackDown Tag Champions, the Street Profits. This should be a fun match. WWE US Champion Bobby Lashley versus IC Champion Sami Zayn, and a men's traditional 5-on-5, which I'm imagining they're going to add a women's 5-on-5 also.
Absolutely. Well, can I interject something over here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
You didn't see the second page?
I did not see the second
page. They're going back to the well with the Bobby Sammy stuff, right? Because they had that
was a good feud
like 2 or 3 years ago. So that's kind of interesting how they work well with each other. WWE's, they do like sneaky sometimes, you know, because you're like, oh, that match came out of nowhere. But when you think about it, they did those. Remember, they were doing those awful like drills where they were trying to bill Bobby Lashley as like this amazing like army veteran.
Yeah.
And then Sammy was doing like the weird interviews. So that should be an okay match. I really like Bobby Lashley. I don't know what's keeping me from liking him as much as I feel like I should.
Bobby Lashley?
Yeah.
I think because he's been around for a long time and they haven't done anything with him. You know, the plan for him was to really be in a program with Lesnar when he came back. Because he kind of came back out of nowhere, and that was the big thing. And they never pulled the trigger on that. They gave him that weird gimmick. I mean, he was always... I think this is the best that Bobby Lashley has looked since coming back. He kind of found the crew that he should be with, which I'm really happy about. But this guy's a world... for people who don't like Bobby Lashley, you got to look at this guy. He's athletic. He's a really good wrestler. He has such an amazing look. He's in his mid-40s or early 40s.
Believable.
You got to pull the trigger. You got to do something with him big now because you don't have a lot of time. And I think people are interested in him. By the way, that men's 5-on-5, AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, and Braun versus Turnbuckle Alvin, TBA. Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin, and Turnbuckle Allen. Really effing cute. That's in the notes. Also, the women's 5-on-5 elimination will be Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Lana versus Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Turnbuckle Danielle, Turnbuckle.
I like that.
What the hell word is that? Alicia and Turnbuckle.
Alicia.
Daisy.
I couldn't think of another A name. Couldn't say Allison.
Allison, Ashley, Amanda. You went with Aisha. Thank you.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Well, to bring everybody up to speed, we have real-time notes that we're looking at so we can have some semblance of order for the show. But MG Geek, I think, is writing them. I think he was asleep when he wrote these.
Love it.
Anyway,
very much appreciate you, MG Geek.
It's thanks, dude. I'm loving. Sorry. You know what I love? I love Ruby Riott's new hair.
Oh yeah, and Matt Short.
That green short hair looks good. Turnbuckle Daisy. Come on.
Turnbuckle Daisy. And then we're getting the Undertaker farewell. Yeah. So that's going to be
What do you think that's going to lead
to? They're not going to just be like, okay, this is it. I mean, they can. They can, right? They can do a whole thing where it's it, but it's WWE. They gotta. Oh, he said one too many cocktails last night for MG Geek.
It's MG Geek.
Do you know he goes to a biker bar and he writes the notes there?
And then he gets into a fight with the biggest dude.
Yeah.
But they always end up kissing.
What are you doing, you nerd? What is that? A computer at the bar?
And MG Geek smashes a bottle on the corner of the bar and goes, "Yeah, you want to make something of it? I'm doing notes for Matt Men the podcast." You
know what he does also in Bram Stoker's Dracula. The scene where Dracula goes like this to it. I can't think today. My tongue is all fucked up.
Yeah.
When he cuts his tongue with his razor, that's what MG Geek does with the beer bottle. And the guys are like, whoa,
Is-
man, sorry.
MG Geek's Dracula? Is MG Geek Gary Oldman Dracula?
He's a Dracula. He's a Dracula.
I like this evolution of MG Geek.
Mr.
Mr. Gonzo.
It's all makeup and grunting. Blah. I don't know.
This is a stacked card, dude.
I don't see Undertaker just retiring. I think that match that he had with AJ Styles at WrestleMania was the best thing possible because he looked phenomenal in that role. I think they could do one more like that for him.
I agree with that.
Dude,
I got a question for you.
Here's how you do it. I got it.
Shoot.
It. You ready?
Go.
Okay.
Talk to
Undertaker does another cinematic match like that in a graveyard.
Go.
And it's all the former opponents that he could face again. So he's facing his own demons, right? So one, Kane shows up, right? And then he has a thing with Kane. And then Sting could show up, and he does a thing with Sting. And Khali shows up. He does a thing with Khali. Like all these giants
Okay.
that he's faced. And then at the end, Bray beats him.
Okay. I'm leaning towards I like it, but I feel like if they're going to do something else cinematic, it's going to be like a really quick surprise, right? Like there's going to be some kind of Bray Wyatt match and then they're in a graveyard and you see Undertaker walk by like Bigfoot.
You think that's what they'll do?
I think so. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does he come out, because it's the final farewell, does he come out straight up looking like the Undertaker, or does he come out like he looked in the documentary with a shirt that looks like a tree?
No, he's
and like a bucket hat, and like a bucket hat.
No, Undertaker for sure.
They're gonna do the Undertaker, not like the guy who lives on a ranch.
Who of Undertaker's real former opponents could they do something like that with?
John Gonzalez.
He's dead.
Is it? No.
Yeah, they're all dead.
A lot of them are. Let's see. Who are the Mark Henry? You could have Matt Bloom, right? Then wasn't.
No, I'm saying like
wasn't Albert like a thing?
Guys, you know,
Mark Henry's a big time guy.
But yeah, Henry's a big time
guy.
Maybe Batista,
Edge,
Triple
H.
Edge is already
Shawn
in something.
Michaels.
Maybe Hunter, Shawn. Yeah, there's a lot that he could
Fiend,
do.
Randy, right?
Okay, now I'm remembering this pay-per-view. I just put it on, by the way. The first match was the NXT girls that won, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the thing? Yeah. This was great. My God, in 1 year, they were really on track for something awesome. They kind of... This team is unbelievable looking at it right now. All right, Mankind. Yeah, have Foley show up. Would love that.
Foley shows
popping
up,
out of a grave that he was buried in.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Right? Didn't he lose that buried alive? And Foley's just Mankind's been in that hole this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, let's talk about AEW since this is the show for AEW today. AEW Full Gear is coming up tonight in less than 10 hours. What are we? 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever you're listening is. It's tonight. Whatever time frame you're listening this, it's soon. I want to talk about AEW Dynamite a little bit before we go into the pay-per-view, but Dynamite was phenomenal.
Let's do it.
Very much enjoyed Dynamite this week. NXT was great also, don't get me wrong, but I think this was a nice build for the show. Also, both AEW and NXT got destroyed in the ratings for obvious reasons. Everybody was watching the news to find out who our new overlord is here in the United States.
Oh boy.
My post. I posted a picture and I said I wrote our new overlords, and I wrote hashtag election 2020, and I posted the photo of a GIF of The Simpsons where the aliens kind of take over, and they removed it, and they told me that they removed my post. I got a warning, and I had to just take out whatever I wrote and posted the aliens.
It's like Kang and Kodos from Treehouse of Horror.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. My tweet got removed. That's insanity. So,
anyway, Andrew, you're not conforming. You have to conform.
You have to conform. Obey.
You have to conform.
Obey. Insane. So, AEW Dynamite last night, very good show. Where do you want to start off with?
Well, okay. What are you most looking forward to tonight because Wednesday, I gotta say, probably one of the best go home shows I've ever seen for any wrestling product.
I liked it. I was thinking what I liked more, what go home. I don't want to say that, but it was a really solid go home show that they made you really want to see it. I wasn't really built. I wasn't really built into the Jon Moxley Eddie Kingston match since we had seen it already. I just not for any reason other than I've been very busy the last couple of weeks. But watching this go home show, the week prior was good too, but this show sold it. Jon Moxley telling the story about how they've known each other for so long, and he was supposed to watch Eddie Kingston's back, and he didn't. And he had promised to Eddie's mom that he would look after it. Like, what a great story, because you got to remember, most of these people have no... and when I say that, I mean majority of wrestling fans. You know, the 1 million people that watch Dynamite either on DVR or online, or I think their number is like 1.2, 1.3 million a week watch this show in some capacity. They really are not familiar with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is not a household name. Very well known in the Northeastern wrestling scene. Was known on Impact, really, and the NWA, but that's not a massive audience. I know him from the Northeastern wrestling scene. You know, being in New York, you know the name Eddie Kingston as an independent guy. Go ahead, Rich.
I think that I agree with you 100%. But AEW does such a great job of really giving these guys the ball to play with, right? So like you were saying, relatively unknown to the majority of fair weather wrestling fans, correct?
Yeah.
Once you hear this guy on the microphone and he's on your TV, you're like, I want to see what this guy's going to do, right? Oh, he's got the microphone again. He's got a match again. This guy, so like AEW has done a really good job of giving these guys mic time. MJF, another good example. Relatively unknown apart from the Northeast wrestling scene. Dude like Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, who's been around forever, right? Put this dude on TV, give him a microphone, give him a couple matches. You want to see what he's going to do. Sammy Guevara, same thing. Sammy's promos aren't the best, but you're getting exposed to these guys that fans like us really, really enjoy and have enjoyed for years because we follow up on the internet. We go to indie shows. We kind of keep up with the indies. So it's a really cool thing that they're doing to promote every single person on that roster to get over going towards the pay-per-view, as opposed to what WWE does, which is kind of do even Steven Barry stuff. Would WWE ever have a Darby Allin as one of the main events of a pay-per-view?
No. I mean, no. I don't know. He's something very special. Whether you like his style or not, he definitely stands out. I don't see it in WWE, but you got to try something different. And I think that's the thing that AEW is doing. Tony Khan did an interview with Dave and Bryan on Wrestling Observer a couple days ago, which is very insightful to see what his thought process is. And he really, the point I got across is that he really loved the mid 90s WCW before things, the wheels came off. And he really, 96, 97, he uses that as a great example. And something he was talking about was the invisible camera, right? Like, think about how WWE shoots backstage segments. Yeah. Where these guys are talking to each other, but there's a camera, but they don't even acknowledge that the camera exists. You're seeing it happen. And that was a point that he said, he's not a fan of that. He doesn't want to pretend the camera doesn't exist. And one of the things that he said, which was interesting, in talking to Eric Bischoff, he's figured out that one of the downfalls for WCW was the fact that they started doing WWE-style backstage segments. Because it may work for WWE because that's what they've trained the audience to expect, but maybe to another audience who wants something different. And I had never heard that as a reason for the shift in WCW's audience, because they technically couldn't do it better than WWE. That's how WWE does it. So if you can't do it better, you're not going to be a good product. And in 98, 99, that was the shift that they took in philosophy, that they became more like WWE as far as the presentation goes. Very interesting. I recommend people check it out and hear Tony talk, because he's a very smart guy. He gets a lot of hate for some odd reason, but he's a very smart and articulate guy. He knows how to explain what he's thinking. But back to your question, I mean, the Eddie Kingston Jon Moxley match. Also, by the way, I want to just let people know, Rich and I have a 700 millisecond delay today. I don't know why. So our timing is way off. I don't know why. I'm looking at this and it's like panicking on my screen that we have this delay. So we're going to pretend and pause and make this not into a real conversation here. Sorry, Rich.
You're freaking out again.
I'm freaking out. So your question, the answer to your question, the Eddie Kingston John Moxley match for sure, I'm looking forward to. But really, it's coming down to Kenny Omega and Hangman. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
You think that's going to be match of the night?
It possibly could. I mean, there's so many. We'll get to that card. There's so many matches of the night, so that's a positive here. But what are you thinking of Rusev Miro on the show?
I'm really digging it. I like the best man stuff. He looks good. I think he's still getting his feet wet as far as like in-ring competition goes, because he was in that WWE bubble for so long. And now it's like it's time for him to shine, discover his own kind of style. And I want to see him work with more people. Working with Trent the other night, fantastic. These guys put on a good show, got good false finishes. I think Trent is one of those guys that can have a good match with anybody. Very talented. I do enjoy it. I kind of miss seeing him with Lana though.
I do too. But here's the thing about it. Have you realized the guys that Miro's working with now, and why?
He knows them all.
Well, he's also trying to get out of that WWE style,
right?
And these are guys that are like Trent Beretta is one of the best. He's gone through the WWE system. He's a phenomenal, just an excellent wrestler. And I think for Rusev to kind of break those WWE habits, not that they're bad, these are the guys you got to work with. And it's the same as Cody. Remember, Cody only did WWE style, and now he's able to do something very, very unique. He's wrestling a very different style than he did. We also had MJF and Wardlow versus Ortiz and Sammy Guevara. That was the opener. Man, what an awesome opener.
I really, really enjoyed it, man. That was Sammy's time to shine, like big time. Again, like I was saying, AEW kind of gives these guys who are quote unquote relative unknowns on the national scene a moment of glory in their regard. Like that. The performance that Sammy and MJF put on in that match was fantastic. MJF is what, like 23, 24 years old? Dude's getting bigger. Dude cuts a great promo. He's got such a good future in that company.
Yeah, tremendous future in the company. Tremendous. All four of those guys, that's a future of that company. Wardlow's going to have a huge babyface singles run, this guy. Very good. Private Party and the Young Bucks. It was okay. It was fine. It was okay. Pac made his appearance where he's talking to himself and his, isolation makes someone go crazy. Great job at it. So I'm sure he's going to be there tonight at the pay-per-view. He'll do something. Dark Order versus Cody and the Gun Club. The big story here is that Cody got his last name back. He's now Cody Rhodes once again. Big story for him. WWE dropped the trademark, which I wonder if they were talking about dropping a trademark. I wonder why. Maybe they realized.
Well, they probably want to keep those WCW names going, and it could have been a gentleman's agreement of like, you're gonna have your name, but we're gonna take Slamboree, we're gonna take this, we're gonna take Halloween Havoc, we're gonna keep this and this,
Well, because
Cody also
his.
Right. Cody also said on another interview that he more than likely will not be using Cody Rhodes for wrestling, but he will be using it for other media outlets. Like he's on that other TNT show or TBS show that's coming up called the Go Big Show, which I feel like is a very confusing name for a game show, especially with a wrestler on it that's not the Big Show. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'm positive he's going to be using Cody Rhodes. He has to.
How good did the young gun look on Wednesday night?
Oh, you look really good. You look really good, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
They're trying
right?
something with him. We'll see what happens.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy now where you're like, yo, Billy Gunn looks like he's a great dad.
I know. The ass man looks like he's such a great, caring father. The ass man.
Like a good solid dad who's there for his kids, and then like you think about him like 20 years ago, just asses all day, baby.
Wasn't there didn't it just come out that he's supposed to have a different name in his singles run? It was supposed to be like bitch ass.
I don't know.
Right? Somebody know this? It was gonna be like suck ass Billy Gunn or bitch ass bitch, something ridiculous they were gonna call him.
I don't know. I don't think they were gonna call him ass bitch.
I'm telling you. Somebody pull this up in the chat room. Somebody knows.
Can somebody fact check this? Can somebody fact check Andrew's?
Yeah, I may have hallucinated this. In a microdose.
You woke up one morning
coma.
Are you still getting microdosed?
I'm not microdosed right now. No, but I am still in that coma.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you? Where are you? What state are you in?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
You're in Cincinnati right now. How did you get there?
A helicopter. Somehow
What's the last thing you remember?
What
is the last thing you remember?
So I was in my office and Lauren brought me coffee. That was it.
With the drugs in it.
With the drugs in it, yeah.
With the drugs in it. Do you think? What if you woke up from this coma in Cincinnati and you realize it's not 2020, but it's 1956?
Oh my God! None of these people have ever existed.
And
wrestling is not what I think it is.
Wrestling is not what you think it is, and I want to get the years right, but in this reality, you're on the run from McCarthyism.
I'm being accused of being.
You're being accused of being a communist. You put yourself in this microdose coma.
Yeah.
And now it's time to wake up, Andrew. Wake up, Andrew. Wake up, Andrew.
Wake up. I don't want to wake up. I want to be on the run still. My line of USA is okay didn't work when they asked me if I'm a communist.
Oh, did you say it like Borat?
USA okay. Like those? And the thumbs up. Because that always works. So let's talk about the pay-per-view now. Full Gear tonight. This is a packed card. The only thing I'm not very happy about is that this looks like it's going to be a very long card. And that was a big complaint for the last AEW pay-per-view. And I feel like, I believe I said the last AEW pay-per-view was probably their weakest one. If you guys remember. I still feel that way. Yeah. I was not digging it because of the length of the show. They put too many matches on that show. And this is kind of looking like that because there's about 9 matches here. So do you want to run down this card, Rich?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And I agree with you too, because I feel like I don't feel old, but I was telling MG Geek the other day, like this midnight shit has got to stop.
I can't do it. Yeah, it really has to stop.
It went to midnight last time. I'm going to pop by. I'm going to try to pop by with some coffee or something, or like I keep trying to get my wife to get me amphetamines, but she
not working.
She doesn't want to.
Do you want to order food tonight?
No, I'm going to eat before I get there.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to eat on the air. I want to watch you eat on the air. I want to watch you eat like 6 donuts on the air. All right. So in a cool turn of events, Serena Deeb has gotten the NWA Championship, the NWA Women's Championship. And now on Full Gear tonight, you're getting Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay during the buy-in for the NWA Women's Championship match. I think this is going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to see Serena Deeb wrestle again.
Yeah, so she, for people who don't remember, what was her name in WWE?
Wasn't she just Serena? She wasn't Serena.
No, she was part of CM Punk's cult where they shaved her head.
Yeah.
And what a commitment. Yeah, what a commitment to shave your head for the role. And it didn't really go far, but she's actually a very good wrestler. She showed up, I think, for the Mae Young Classic a couple years ago.
She was Serena. Yes, she was Serena.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she showed up for the Mae Young Classic. She looked great. Very interested to see this match. I like the NWA relationship with AEW because this has always been part of that grand plan to put together some sort of WrestleMania-esque event with all the other groups, right? Not necessarily independents, because obviously you could use a lot of independents, but you have NWA, you have Ring of Honor, you have Impact, you have AEW here in the United States that are all on TV running shows. In NWA's TV is a little broad to say, but digital. But you have all this talent, you have all this TV. Why not have these guys, some of them work together? We're seeing that even there
Perfect.
is a weird Impact connection now with
Mhm.
with AEW, with Don Callis doing these videos.
Mhm.
I know it's for Kenny and their friends, but we gotta look at this as, okay, you know what? The door is not shut. It's not like WWE.
Right.
There's the door with NJPW is
Mhm.
open. I'm not too sure what the relationship with Ring of Honor is right now, but everybody's kind of working in some capacity together, which is great. This is a great example. NWA Women's Championship match on AEW TV. I love it, and you can tell this is all because of Tony Khan being such a big fan of pro wrestling. Obviously, it's the NWA title. This is going to lead to having the actual NWA title on this card. I think this is a great way for Cody to kind of get that title back, drop the TV title, win that title back, and have a program.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Next, Orange Cassidy versus John Silver.
I like Josh Silver better.
John Silver.
Long John Silver. By the way, John Silver's the big star here. He's really come up. Unfortunately, he's a little short, but who the fuck cares? This guy is such a comedic character on BTE, and I'm not I don't really care for BTE. Do you know that about me?
Yeah, I know you don't care about it.
I
think
love
we
it.
watch it the same way. Yeah,
like there are
kind of
moments
fast forward
that I
through
find
the
funny.
stuff that you don't care about.
Yeah. There's stuff that I like, but there's a lot of stuff I don't like. So, but he's been a shining star here. I think it's fine for Orange Cassidy to lose this to John Silver and kind of give him a push, but I expect Cassidy to win because he's the favorite here. There's also going to be over 1,000 people in the audience,
which is cool.
I think they're going to have about 1,200 people there. And I think normally they do about 4,000 with the stage setup. So 1,000 will make a big difference in that building, because right now they've only had a couple hundred people, and it's dwindled more because it's less and less people. How many times? First of all, who lives in Jacksonville that wants to go see AEW every weekend, every Wednesday? It's
right.
At $35 a pop. So obviously there's those regulars, but it becomes less and less every week when you put on a regular show. I think this is going to be interesting to see how AEW does it, because they're beating WWE as far as attendance goes.
Oh, absolutely. Isn't it crazy how, if you're a wrestler, you start wrestling in front of 10 people, then 20 people, then maybe 100 people, then 500 people, and then 10,000 people. And now it's like, right. And then now it's like, yo, I just want there to be 5 people in the audience, please give us crazy.
Here's the big thing. A lot of people were like, WWE was very slow to adapt and change to the COVID era of wrestling. You could obviously tell because they were shooting for how many weeks were they shooting? No crowd, empty chairs, right? In the beginning.
Right.
But AEW was able to adapt to it. But forget about the aesthetic. I think a lot of it had to do with the talent also, because remember, if you're in WWE, you get signed to WWE, guess what you're being trained to do? Wrestle in front of 10 to 100,000 people. You're not working matches for 50 or 100. Even when they're doing the terrible houses at house shows, there's still 1,000 or so or more. I mean, obviously 1,000 on the low end, but there's still a couple thousand people there, and it's just one match. Those big events, though, big house shows on the weekends, you got a couple thousand people there. TV, you got almost 10,000 people there. Pay-per-views, absolutely.
Yeah.
So these are people that are used to working in front of tens of thousands of people. AEW, on the other hand, a lot of these guys, they're used to working in front of nobody.
That's a benefit, isn't it?
When you got a guy like John Silver or Sammy Guevara or I'm just going, even Eddie Kingston, or Orange Cassidy, these are guys that know how to wrestle without needing an audience there, and I think they benefited from them. Now the WWE guys, great example, and I bring this up all the time. Great example of this is Sasha and Bayley. Sasha and Bayley had a very difficult time in the beginning.
Yes.
Adapting to no audience. And you could tell when they would cut promos in the ring, you know what? And everybody did it. It's not just them. I'm not picking on them, but they really stood out to me. They're looking and pausing for an audience. They're looking at the crowd when nobody was there. This is before the Thunderdome and the screens. But they were one of the only ones that immediately they realized their mistakes and they're like, okay, we got to change this, and they became stellar, unbelievable.
Right.
So,
well, that's the bubble that WWE's in.
Yeah. We're getting a redo of Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara in an ultimate deletion match.
I think
what do you think of this?
Great. 20 minutes. I wonder if it's going to be at the Hardy compound. I do like how the cinematic stuff with Matt Hardy protects him, because unfortunately he got conked on the head a little too hard last time and they had to call the match, right? So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I feel like we're going to see a lot of like weird cameos here.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Who do you think?
Who do you think
takes?
I think Matt Hardy takes it.
Okay, and the loss doesn't hurt Sammy.
No, it doesn't hurt Sammy. I think Sammy still has a long way to go. You know, I think in terms of not in terms of building his character, but as far as his career, he's so young. Senior Benjamin could show up. Rebby could show up. All the Hardy kids could show up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, what else do we have?
Let's see here. We got Chris Jericho. This is a stacked card, my friend. Chris Jericho versus MJF. I am a big fan of this lead up. This dude is working with all the young guys. It's great. I'm talking about Jericho. I'm looking forward to this match. I feel like it's going to be like a kind of like not a double count out, but I think there's not going to be a clear winner.
I'm going to say MJF. I'm going to say MJF takes it. I'm going to say Jericho loses and MJF takes it, and he's now stuck. They're stuck at the hip. They're going to do something weird with that. I don't know. I got to see what's going on here with this. I'm curious. Very curious with that. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Paige for the final, the tournament final for the AEW World Championship tournament to get a title shot. This is going to be, I think, probably match of the night as far as athleticism goes, right? Okay. I would say that this would be that match. But they've done a good job at separating them and building the story over time. You've seen the evolution of Hangman become, which is very cool because they were going to turn Hangman, right? He was going to be the heel in this. Yeah. And they were very quick to realize that the crowd started loving him because of this I don't give a shit attitude that he had and the drinking. Right. And they're like, okay, let's pump the brakes on this. Let's figure out another way, which I'm very happy for. Kenny Omega, on the other hand, has shown signs of the cleaner gimmick, and he's more heelish when he's in the ring. He murdered Sonny Kiss, which I think a lot of people liked. That was done very well, and that's kind of showing that it's a very different Kenny Omega. Cool. I like it. I think as far as a match goes, and I'm hopeful, because, listen, you never know what could happen, right? These are guys that have not had a match together, and now here's the opportunity. You gotta make it worth your while. From everything that I think, Kenny would want to put Hangman over and have Hangman as that guy. I don't think Hangman needs to be that guy. Not right now. He doesn't. I don't think Hangman will lose anything by doing this. I think Kenny will lose tremendous steam, especially us leading into the new year and possibly within the next, month or so, attendance coming back and kind of getting more into the vibe of things. Kenny Omega needs to be front and center in 2021 as a pivotal force. And I say this all the time, and people get really mad at me for saying this. And I still believe this, and listen, everything is debatable. It's my opinion alone, but I truly believe that if Kenny Omega had gone to WWE compared to AEW, not in this alternate universe, WWE would have booked them way better from the get-go. World. They would have, if they had acquired Kenny Omega and they had invested all this money that they were saying that they were going to put into this guy, he would have been in a front and center position, in a way better positioning on the roster compared to what they did with AEW. I understand. Listen, he's an EVP. They don't want it to seem like he's pushing himself. They want to get all this younger talent over so they have opponents. I understand the formula as to why they did this. I'm just saying if it was WWE with Kenny, they would have positioned him way better. They weren't going to have him wrestling The Miz every week or Braun Strowman, every week. They were going to have him in major matches. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with that?
I want to agree with you. I want to agree that if Kenny signed to WWE and you're all in the alternate wrestling universe, that he would be front and center and have a very prominent role. I kind of find it hard to believe, though. I feel like they would have paid him all this money to have a quick feud with AJ Styles and a quick feud with Balor, and then kind of get shuffled off to the side. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He would be floating around in the ether. I think as far as tonight goes, this is a very interesting match. You have people love both guys, right? You have Kenny Omega in classic wrestling fashion the other night on commentary, saying the other night during that JR interview, saying, "Hey, I've won the biggest wrestling tournaments in the world. This is kind of my thing. I'm definitely going to beat Hangman," right? Hangman saying, like, "I know all of Kenny's moves, et cetera, et cetera." So the booking for this is going to be interesting because I don't think it's murky, but I agree with your other sentiment of, hey, Kenny should be the face of AEW going forward, right? And I'm not saying that because I'm a Kenny mark, even though I'm a huge Kenny mark. I think it's for the character, it could be the right move to do. It doesn't hurt Hangman. Plus, going into the next year, a Omega Moxley part 2 or part 3 would be very interesting to see, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's the end of this, but no. It would be interesting. I think, you know, I don't know. I can see where Kenny goes once he gets this. I don't know where Hangman goes when he loses this. You know, you gotta now figure out, do we separate them and have Hangman in a different feud? Maybe Pac and him again would be a good program. I don't know.
Or Hangman goes for that TNT belt, man. I'd love to see those matches.
Cody, yeah, I would too. I also would like it. We'll see what happens. Cody versus Darby Allin. Sorry, Rich, go ahead.
I was gonna say the exact same thing you were.
No, say it again.
Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. Cody cut a fiery promo to close out Dynamite on Wednesday night, and I know you texted me that you really enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the promo. I love a fiery promo from anybody. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Okay.
Cody and Darby. I don't know if that's the match I want to see, to be honest. I've seen it.
Okay. Do you think Darby takes it? Even though we've seen this match a ton.
No, I don't think Darby takes it. I think Cody has to take it. I don't think this is a title for Darby Allin. The TNT title needs to be something as a major secondary title. Darby Allin isn't in that role right now. I'm weird about Darby Allin.
Okay.
Because I think he's awesome in the role. I just don't think that he's a main event act. I don't think he would appeal to a main event picture as a large large viewership.
Mm-hmm. So you think that's the one thing preventing him from getting that title, or is that just your opinion of the dude?
That's my opinion of the dude. I don't know where you put him.
Okay. Well, I think Cody did a really good job of promoting a match, and this is opposed to like WWE thinking, where Cody did a really good job promoting a match with a quote unquote physically smaller talent, right? This is like a battle of wills for the most part. But I think Cody calling the belt the ace belt in the company puts a lot of weight on it, and I agree with you. Where do you want to put that weight on Darby Allin when it was on Cody or Brody Lee, right? Brody Lee also is not on this card, so he could be a factor in this match.
He could be a factor in this match, yeah. So you know what else I wanted to touch on we didn't talk about with Dynamite? The Taz promo was interesting. Taz came out, and he pretty much got this promo. He's like, listen, my guys are nearly undefeated, but they're not in the main event picture. They're not even ranked properly. I think this is leading to Brian Cage getting something else. The dude is huge.
Okay.
He's humongous and
big dude,
very athletic, has an interesting look. Whether or not you like him or not, but this guy, he does make a point saying like, where's his shot? Where's this happening? So I think that's what we're going down. That we're going to see more Brian Cage in the new year.
Okay, I agree with that. And more Ricky Starks too. Like Ricky Starks should be the one to like for example, Ricky Starks could be the one to interrupt a pin that Darby Allin would get, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this card too. I'm getting really excited just talking about it. It might be the caffeine.
Okay, go ahead.
We have FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championship match. I am a big fan of this. I'm looking forward to it. People have been saying that there's been no build to it on TV, and I believe one of the Jacksons was like, "Oh yeah, 5-year build for this wasn't good enough."
I know. Who takes this?
I don't know, man. It's a good question. I do think so. You mentioned the TNA thing, right? The Impact thing, where there could be some kind of potential crossover, right?
Yeah.
Now, in this fantasy world that is professional wrestling, I feel like there's not going to be a clear winner of this match, and there's a possibility for the match to get interrupted by Gallows and Anderson, right? If they're going to go for that crossover.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even want to speculate on that, but it would be an interesting yeah, it would be an interesting and listen, as far as fantasy booking goes, that would be interesting to do. I think FTR should retain this.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know what's better, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I'm trying to think what the finish of this should be. You know what? Take the Young Bucks take it. No, I'm gonna go Young Bucks take it.
Okay. All right. I'll agree with you. Young Bucks take it. Because both these teams are going to be around forever. I think we're also trained by that weird WWE mentality where it's like, oh, great, they're going to bury these guys now, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter. You know what? Make the money. Keep flipping those belts back and forth. Young Bucks have it for a little bit. FTR has it for a little bit. That stipulation that the Young Bucks had of never challenging for the belt, I think that's a tough road to hoe because you want them to be tag champs, right? Cody never challenging for the heavyweight title with that stipulation. Fine. Whatever, dude. He's got that quote unquote ace belt. There is no secondary tag team belt, right? I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Young Bucks need to take it unless there is some kind of wacky ass run in that happens. It could also be Team Taz, right?
It could also be Team Taz. Yeah. Also could be that.
Let's see. What else we got here? We got Karashira versus Nyla Rose. AEW Women's Championship match. I think this is going to be a solid match. I think Nyla Rose is going to take it. Shida has had that belt for a while with no real competition. Match could also get interrupted by Britt Baker.
Probably Britt Baker maybe plays a role. I'm not into this match. I'll be honest with you. I saw it already. It was okay. It was good. But I don't know how I feel about this match. I'm not sold on this match. I'm more into the NWA title match than this match.
Okay. All right. Do you think this should have been on the buy-in and the NWA match should have been on the main card?
I don't know. I think I get why every title's on the line. It should be. It's a pay-per-view. I hope it's a quicker match because this card is so stacked. It's going to get lost. It's not going to be able to keep up with all the other matches. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They have to do something interesting with this.
I agree with that. And that's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9th match of the night, Moxley versus Kingston, AEW World Championship match. This is the I Quit match, right?
This is it an I Quit match? I forgot.
I think so. I think it's an I Quit match.
I don't think
WWE doesn't own the rights to an I Quit match.
Dude, they
guys,
own the rights
is
to
this
life.
an I Quit match?
I don't think so. Oh, it is an I Quit.
Okay.
No, the Dark. He's writing I Quit match next to something. I don't know what the hell he wrote it next to.
Mr. Gaza?
Thank you, MG Geek. Yeah, it's an I Quit match. Thank you very much. I didn't see it in notes, so he's right. He wrote it next to the Dark Order match. From Dynamite.
He's recovering. From that.
I love
fight he got into last night.
I love hungover MG Geek right now. Yeah.
MG Geek is the man right now. MG Geek, are you going to give us notes for later?
Yeah.
All right. So who do you think takes it?
I'm going to go with Jon Moxley. Moxley takes it. But maybe we get a surprise at the end. Somebody shows up. Pac shows up to I don't know. Weren't they teasing some sort of surprise? Weren't they doing that for a couple of weeks?
All right. So after the Pac promo on Wednesday, I think he's showing up tonight. I think he's going to be the one to interrupt the Moxley Eddie Kingston match, and I think the feud going forward is going to be Eddie Kingston and Pac, because Pac had the Death Triangle.
Oh yeah,
right. So if he comes back all crazy, attacks Eddie Kingston, he could feud. Listen, he could feud with either one of those dudes, right? He could feud with Kingston saying, like, you took my buddies from me while I had nothing to do, while I was stuck overseas. He could feud with Moxley saying, like, same thing. Like, his rationale for being kept out of the picture for 7 months is enough to attack anybody. He could attack Darby Allin. He could attack Cody. He could attack Jericho or MJF. He could attack any single person on this roster and start a feud with them, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to
maybe he joins Team Taz.
Who, Pac? He would be great for him. He'd be great for that team. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm very much interested though. This show's looking really, really good. Well, I'm hoping that it keeps up. I listen. Here's my pet peeve, guys. Keep it under 11 o'clock, please. If anybody's listening, please keep the show under 11 o'clock.
Not gonna happen. So you look at this card. You have 9 matches on this card, right? Orange Cassidy versus John Silver, 15 minutes. Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara, half an hour. Jericho MJF, half an hour. Kenny Hangman, half an hour. Cody,
long,
Darby Allin, 20 minutes. FTR Bucks. FTR Bucks could go either way.
None of these matches should go over 25 minutes.
Sheeta and Nyla Rose could.
World title match.
Moxley Kingston.
Sorry, Rich,
45, dude. No. It's
45
minutes, dude.
Jesus.
Yeah, because it's an I Quit match, right? These guys have a history of being hardcore dudes that don't quit, right?
Yeah, that is their gimmick.
So 45 minutes, I feel like, dude, it's going to go an hour. I'm going to be at the studio until 1 a.m. I'm going to have to sleep on your couch.
Listen, I don't want this show on that long. I think, and this is like by the way, this is a trap that both WWE and AEW fall into, where they're like, oh man, this card is great. Add more. But you got to start, they got to start at 7 o'clock at night. There's no reason anymore you need to start a show at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock anymore. Why can't you do the show at 6 o'clock? Start the show 6 p.m. It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
COVID era. Nobody's going anywhere.
It is going there.
The election's over. People are fucking weird right now. Everybody's all messed up in the head. Start the show as early as possible.
4 in the afternoon.
4 in the afternoon. Great time. I would love it. Wouldn't you love for the show to be on at 4 in the afternoon?
I'm an early bird, man. I think me and you have that same thing going. We're like, we get up early. I like to go to bed early. I feel like I'm in bed at like 9:30 every day.
Dude, I love it.
9:30.
The best pay-per-views I've ever watched were the ones that I'm watching in California when I'm at Spencer's place.
Forget it.
It's always the best. You know why? Because I'm done. It starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5, 6, 7, 8 the latest. I'm done.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Jay Gore in the chat room has a question for you. Do you think there is a chance Sting shows up tonight? Stang, because his Legends contract is over.
So ask that question again. I'm sorry.
You got so pumped up right there. You did like you were seeing red for a second.
Stang.
Yeah. Do you think Stang shows up tonight because his Legends deal is over?
I don't know. Not to wrestle. I think it's cool when these guys show up. I think it's really cool when big names show up. It adds something different. It's whatever. Do I want to see him in a match? I don't know. Other than the Taker thing, that's the only time I'm very interested in the whole Sting returning thing. That's the only in a cinematic match. I don't want to see Sting have a match. But show up and do something. That's cool.
I'm okay with that. Like present the belt or something like that, or have him backstage, full surfer dude makeup. Ayaz Akhtar, friend of the show, has a follow up question.
The great
Do you think
by the way, wrong intro. The great Ayaz Akhtar from CNET. He's a big time celebrity now. He's on everything CBS related when it comes to tech.
Did you say great or grape?
The grape Ayaz Akhtar.
The grape. Yeah, it's the grape. Do you think Sting from the Police shows up at Full Gear?
I would love Sting from the Police to show up at Full Gear, and then they just act like it's like the wrestler Sting.
Sting the singer in Sting makeup, amazing.
I would love that.
All right,
Sting and Sting makeup.
You want to do a few questions before we go in like 15 minutes?
Yeah, so we got about 10 minutes, guys. Submit your questions here. Yeah. Q&A. This delay is driving me nuts. It's broken my brain.
I'll be there later, buddy.
It has nothing to, it's not your fault, Rich. It's mine.
I know.
You know what I'm going to do?
My fault.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to run a line from my house to yours. Dedicated.
Okay.
Like myself. I'm going to do it myself. I'm gonna rent one of those machines, and I'm just gonna run a direct Ethernet, a Cat5 cable from my house to yours. And that's how we're gonna do this.
Two things. Number one, is this a string and toucan situation that we're talking about right now?
That's exactly what we're talking about.
I really, honestly, when we do call-ins tonight, I really want Ayaz to call in so we can introduce him as the grape.
The grape Ayaz Akhtar. Yeah. So what we're gonna do tonight? Obviously, we're going to have the regular cast on tonight, but I'm going to spread it out. So I'm going to have MG Geek on at one point. I'm going to have Jonathan on at one point. I'm going to have callers at one point. And then at the end, we can maybe do like a quick recap where Jonathan and MG Geek hang out and they do a whole thing with us. Not cutting anybody out. I'm not cutting anybody out, so I don't want anyone to get offended. I'm just trying to change things a little bit. I like to do this from time to time. I don't like to get stale. I like to spread us out.
Spread it out. That's Shin's cue to call in later. Also, the question from Shin, my favorite in the audience. Do you think Ken Kennedy dressed as Sting shows up at Full Gear?
Oh God. You know, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Ken Kennedy.
Okay. All right.
Nothing against him personally.
You're on edge today.
Oh.
Josh Freaks, another question. Would you allow The Fiend and Alexa Bliss to babysit your kids?
My kids, can I tell you something? My kids freaking love The Fiend and Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
My daughter loves Bray, the man in the red shirt. That's what they call him. The boy in the red shirt. They love they think the Firefly Funhouse is an actual show. And my wife is mortified that my daughter's so into this like spooky stuff. But they absolutely love it. They love The Fiend. It would be great for me because then I could go out and go on date night with my wife.
Oh, that's all you want.
I care about. The
psycho to babysit your kids. You know, a 50-50 chance, right?
What a great commercial for WWE to do, right? It's a couple. And guys, do you guys steal my ideas sometimes over there? So here's a great idea. You got a nice bumper for a pay-per-view, right? Here's a commercial for the pay-per-view. It's a couple getting ready to go out to dinner. The babysitter's late, and they're like, "Where's the babysitter?" Doorbell rings. And then everything goes smoky and red and goes, "Let me in." And it's Alexa Bliss and The Fiend babysitting the kids.
I like it.
Right? And then the parents come home and it's like all weird. Everything is weird.
And then Kane's in the kitchen trying to eat ravioli, but he's got the mask on. And it's big, whoop, what do I do situation.
What are these?
Ayaz, the grape Ayaz has an actual question.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get a finger poke of doom or a finger poke of doom like finish for the MJF Jericho match?
Oh no. Fuck. I would say no, but you know what? That's really really good effed up booking.
Okay. I agree with that. It could, because like people might be expecting like this like 30-minute like giant Broadway, and it ends up being like both of them posing for 5 minutes, shaking hands.
Away from that. They should stay away from that because already there's a little. It's fascinating, right? A lot of people still attribute a weird WCW stink on anything that's secondary and not WWE. Even WWE now, WWE gets a WCW stink. You don't want to rehash that.
Okay.
Do something. Like, I don't think it does anything for MJF. I don't think that helps him. I think being in a match with Chris Jericho, regardless of him being in his prime or not, this is a key match for this kid. Have the match. Do something. Sorry. Go ahead, guys. What else?
I got a good one here.
Mhm.
This is from Alex in the chat room. Very interesting. What if Hogan's acting career had taken off in the early 90s and he left wrestling? How would the 90s and the Monday Night War, how would they have played out?
So you're talking 1993. Hogan leaves to do Suburban Commando.
And boom, skyrocket.
It becomes a huge fucking hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. You ready? Yeah, you ready? How I'm gonna do this? He never goes to WCW, but he does make appearances in WWE, right? Goes away for a little bit, has main events every now and then, comes back, leaves, comes back. But let's say his career explodes on a Stallone level or Arnold level. I think by the 2000s, he would still return to do a couple one-offs, and then he would have retired. I don't think we would have ever seen a run in the mid-2000s from Hogan. I think by 2000, 2001, he would have been totally retired. You would have heard a lot of rumors. Oh, maybe he'll come back to WWF. But again, I think the whole trajectory of wrestling changes if Hogan leaves. Hogan leaves, doesn't go to WCW. That means Macho doesn't go to WCW. WCW still becomes something else. I don't know how much longer they could sustain without Hogan for all the crap that Hogan got for going to WCW. And everybody's like, oh, it was a money deal. The dude made his entire salary from that first match he had with Flair, that pay-per-view. What was that? Was it Starrcade? Yeah, it was Starrcade. That match 94? 93?
94, okay.
94. That big pay-per-view he had with Flair, where he won the title, that paid for the entirety of Hogan's salary. That one match.
Okay.
So I think I don't know what the trajectory of WCW would have been, but I don't know if we would have gotten that big boom in the 90s. I think wrestling would have just been wrestling.
And
Steve Austin wouldn't have left WCW.
That's very fascinating. Does Hogan being such a big celebrity throw a monkey wrench into everything, and it just kind of becomes bland? Because he was the focal point of wrestling for like 20 years.
From 1984 to 1994, so 10 years right there, he was a focal point in WWE. And then again, 20 years, he was a focal point throughout the 90s for WCW. I think that changes a lot. I would like to think about this, though. That's a great question. It's one of those questions.
Really solid question.
Because that's a domino effect, right? Because Kevin, you know what? Nash and if Hogan doesn't leave and you still got Savage there and you got that old crew there, maybe Nash and Hall still go to WCW, but maybe they can't afford it at that point. They don't have the fascinating. Very interesting question.
Also, you would have had Hogan in an Expendables, couple of Expendables movies. You would have had him in, if he ended up becoming that big movie star, he would have been in like tons of weird movies.
Well, right? You know what? Think about the movies he would have been in that Arnold got or Stallone got in that era, right?
Eraser.
Let's see. Hold on. What were some mid-90s Arnold movies?
Oscar for Stallone, for sure.
Junior.
He would have been Oscar.
Oh, my God. Hogan and Junior with Danny DeVito.
Why do you look like a little ball, brother? I'm having a baby, brother.
Oh, what was that one where he had the baby? Last Action Hero, 100% he would have been in.
Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
You would have had the 6th Day, possibly. What was the End of Days? I love that movie with Schwarzenegger, but you could easily see that with Hogan.
Oh man, I love that. Last Action Hero for sure. 130% he'd be in that.
And unfortunately, we wouldn't get Rock versus Hogan. I think all these, if Hogan became a movie star sooner than, like, if he actually became a movie star sooner than The Rock, I think the landscape of wrestling would have changed because a lot of other guys would have also become movie stars following that trajectory.
Yeah, I can't even fantasy book this because so much changes. It's one of those moments. It's what it really is in wrestling. Hogan leaving to do Thunder in Paradise changed everything.
So good.
Get in the chopper, brother.
Can you imagine? But that it would have been any of those really weird Schwarzenegger movies. He would have been perfect at, like Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way would have been a perfect Hogan movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Perfect Hogan movie.
You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Guys, so here's the deal. We're going to be back tonight. We're going to be back for a watch along for Full Gear live here on YouTube. We're going to post a link on our Twitter, so follow our Twitter, Matt Men Podcast on Twitter. You could go there. If you listen to the podcast, in a few short hours, we're going to be back. I'll give you guys the time on there. Probably 6:30, 7. I think the show starts at 7, so like 6:30ish, we'll be live doing stuff. Rich is going to be in the studio for some time.
Hell yeah!
I don't want him to commit till midnight. God, I hope the show doesn't go to midnight. But we'll be live here. We'll be doing the show. We'll be taking your phone calls. So guys, be ready to participate today. If you're in the chat now, join us and participate in the conversation. You could call us 888-828-1437 tonight. You could also tweet us. You could join the chat room, which the chat room makes my freaking day. That's my favorite part of doing these watch-alongs is having the chat going and everybody's having a good time, eating, drinking, and also you guys funding us. You could hit that super chat button while we're doing the watch-along, and we'll do something fun. Maybe we'll play Spin the Wheel again. You want to do Spin the Wheel again today?
Sure.
In some capacity. I'll figure out some stuff, and we'll do a Spin the Wheel. I also have to order the new chair. I found one that I really like. So thanks to you guys crowdfunding the chair in the chat room, which was awesome. All right, guys, that's it for this week. We'll see you all later. Take care.